Trap Talk, Reptile Network, sponsorship highlight, Focus Cube Habitats, Ashley and Steven, Flex in Texas, my favorite duo in the enclosure game. What is up?
Nada. We're just here actually at the shop this time. So usually we're in the bedroom at home recording all this stuff, but we're actually at work today because it's during business hours. So what an incredible place to be, right?
I always compliment on how hard working you two are. For you to take time out of your day to sit down with us, I appreciate it. I know the trappers do too, but this is a spotlight on Focus Cube Habitats. You guys have been a part of this channel for going on 3 years now, and I'm so blessed and so honored to have your guys' support. But let the people know exactly what Focus Cube Habitats has in store for 2024. Any updates? Right now is your moment. So what do you have to say to everyone out there?
Basically, right now we're continuing what we're doing. So we're able to produce more stuff. We're able to produce better stuff. So we've got, scale has improved, speed has improved. And, the more I get acquainted with the equipment, the software designs, they improve too. So we've got, even just enclosure sizes, we have like stuff that's a cubic foot up to 8x4x4 and pretty much anything in between, from standard enclosures to tub systems to, we've got a new, what's a Concept 3 Max. Yep. So it uses the large Cambro tubs for arboreal snakes. And we actually have a heat panel version now. So in those, we've managed to move away from heat tape. So you have 3 individual heat panels. You can control everything super accurately. It's basically stuff like that. Just taking what we've already built and trying to figure out a better way to do it, a faster way to do it, and keep kind of creating new stuff on the way. So we're trying to add in some more automation where we can too. So we're trying to increase the, technology use in enclosures, trying to automate stuff more and take a lot of the guesswork out. So we're just trying to improve stuff that way too. And, we also have, like a line of enclosures that's very simple and basic. If you need a box and you need it quickly and you're more than capable to get it running, that's awesome. Or if you need more turnkey setups, we're working on stuff like that too. So we're trying to have literally everything in between, from basic to cuckoo crazy.
Yeah, it's been actually really good. So with the new CNC machine, we've been able to, it's taken us, a good year, but we've been able to keep the flow going, and we're actually, a little bit ahead of schedule for the most part. We work in here, 6-7 days a week sometimes. And, really, everything's going good. Steven's coming up with new designs. He's got a lot of cool stuff in the works. I know he doesn't like to, hint too much before it's released, but a lot of cool stuff there. And yeah, with all the new, like the IQ series, and then of course with the tub systems and even our replacement tops for Exoterras, they've been super popular. So like he said, we've got pretty much everything along the range. But yeah, it's been pretty exciting, especially with the new model releases early this year. And we're also still, have the Heretic in the works. So that's kind of Steven's baby. He's been working on the version 5. So there's a lot of cool stuff in the works, but we're still, nose to the grind for everything that we have already in the queue. And we're going good on that. We've got the laser up and running for a lot of the acrylic work, and like engraving work. And then of course the CNC is running all the time. Like before we came here, we just had to make sure that it was quiet here in the shop. So
yeah, we shut it off seconds ago.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate that. Now I have to ask you though, how much of this that you guys been doing throughout the last few years is like self-taught? Like, are you guys really teaching yourselves on how to like work new machinery, or are you going to trade school to learn? Like, I'm just curious how you guys are figuring this shit out.
We're students of the University of YouTube.
Yep.
Literally came in this knowing absolutely nothing.
Zero.
And just trial and error. You push buttons, you see what happens. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's not, and you figure out what went wrong, and you go back and you just keep working on it. So like our giant laser, that thing's over 4 foot by 8 foot working area. You would think it would come with like some kind of user manual or instructions. It just showed up in a plastic wrap on a crate, and we had to figure everything out. So it's pushing buttons and going to YouTube and seeing if there's anything similar out there. But it's 100%. Even figuring out where to source hardware. You don't go to PVCenclosurehardware.com and buy all this stuff. You've got a billion different sources you've got to find, negotiate with, make sure they send you the stuff, make sure they send you the right stuff. It's all the little things you'd never think of is so much of this business. It's totally crazy. You think you go to Lowe's and you get a couple screws and that's it. And it's definitely not it.
Yeah, you know, you're not a general type business as far as the type of material you guys need. You're doing like next level stuff, but also it is why Focus Cube is Focus Cube. Let's be real. I have a question though. The laser, is that what cuts the PVC? Is that what a laser does?
CNC router, it's what cuts all of the PVC and like polycarbonate and HDPE. So plastic materials like that. The laser is really for pretty much, we use it almost exclusively just for acrylic cutting. So
Wow.
some of our units use acrylic, like the IQs have acrylic. So instead of using the CNC router, which you have to think it's essentially the tool bit, just think of it like a screw with a sharp edge. So as it goes along and cuts on clear things, it's not going to be a perfectly clear polished edge because there's no way to like microscopically hold that material absolutely flat. What the laser can do through acrylic, I mean, it shoots a very scary beam of light through it, and it cuts it and flame polishes it at the same time. So when you cut a piece of acrylic and you flip it over, it's completely clear front, back, side to side. And we also use like acrylic too for some internal bracing. So, you know, acrylic inside an enclosure looks cool, and it's also super rigid. So you can have larger door openings, and you can kind of use acrylic bracing to help make them more rigid. So when you stack them, you don't have all that sagging problem. So it's for structural components, and it's for like door pieces and stuff like that too. And there's probably all kind of other weird stuff I can do with it I hadn't had time to figure out yet, but we've made a couple cardboard boxes, so it'll cut cardboard. So for like our concept units that have a weird size box you can't buy anywhere, we'll actually cut our own boxes for them. So all kind of weird stuff like that.
Yeah, and I want to give people an actual update and a review basically on because you know everyone's a critic, right? Everyone, no matter what you invest in or no matter what you feel like you like, there's someone who has something to say about something, right?
Oh,
and I
sure.
want to say the one thing that only thing that someone would really tell me what they didn't like about my Focus Cube cages, and it wasn't even these, it was the bigger ones. It was because the acrylic doors, and they said that they would get floppy and they would bend, and none of that has happened. I think I've had that enclosure for over 3 years now. It's 6 feet tall, 4 feet across, 3 feet deep. And I like look at it all the time. It hasn't warped, it hasn't bent. It is perfect. Everything's fine. Mind you, I wipe my enclosures down too. I take care of my enclosures. But the quality of PVC with these are just so durable. Like, you know what I mean? Like, even if you do get water stains on them, I remember I had one that had water stains on it, and I hadn't wiped it down in a while, and I just took like chlorhexidine and a type of like a solution, wiped it down, and it polished brand new, like it was like not stained at all.
Yeah, a lot of this stuff is just maintenance. So think about your automobile. I mean, if you just drag your car through mud and filth every day and you don't wash it for years, it's going to look ugly. If you take care of it, it's going to look nice. I mean, it's like anything. You just take care of stuff and it's going to last and look good. I mean, you can screw up anything quick, you know, if you're just being abusive to it. But like to your door comment, like there's really 3 types of clear door material that's used for this stuff. So you have polycarbonate, which is kind of like what like safety glasses and bulletproof glass is made out of. It's not affected by heat and humidity. So when you have a cool, dry side and you have a warm, humid side, a material like acrylic will bend because it is affected by that, whereas polycarbonate doesn't. So there's clever ways that you can install acrylic doors, you know, keeping in mind the different thicknesses and your hinge placement and all that stuff that help keep that from, you know, being so present. But there's a benefit to the acrylic is that it's slightly more scratch resistant than polycarbonate. So everything's kind of a trade-off. Now, the third material is glass, which works great for sliders, but for swing out door units, you can really get glass only, you know, with a 90-degree corner or maybe a quarter-inch radius. That's pretty much it. If you want a door that has any contour, I mean, we've looked into getting a water jet, but that's, you know, about 400 grand, and you're going to need 3-phase power, and they cost, you know, 12 to 20 bucks an hour to run, not including any maintenance. That's just running it. So I'm like,
damn,
that's big stuff to water jet contour doors. That's stupid money.
Well, would you guys ever want to get to that at some point if you can?
Oh, that'd be sweet. If I had endless dollars, I'd have one. It'd be behind you right now. It's just it's going to take a long time to sell enough doors to pay back $500,000 worth of equipment.
Right. Respectfully, that's just what it comes down to. You know, you know, it's crazy how some people just have that money where it doesn't matter. But of course, you have two passionate people coming from the level one of things. It's, you know, I know day by day things are going to go to where you guys want it to be. Now, I have to ask you, one of the biggest things people come to me about, they ask about how they can approach you guys about getting custom work done. What's the turnaround, or what's the layout right now for anyone who needs custom enclosures done, in case they don't have, in case it's not on your website or something like that, or so, in case someone has an idea too, first and foremost, like how does somebody go about that? What's the best way for them to come to you, all that stuff?
Well, over the last couple years, we've actually really, you know, turned off most custom stuff because we're currently, I mean, we're just so slammed with regular orders.
And we have like over 30 models available. So it's rare really that people need something outside of that, but
Right.
and it's something that it sounds easy, like, hey, just make a few modifications, but to do that, it's not just hitting a couple buttons. I mean, it's going to be a complete redesign. You're going to have one-off CAD CAM files. I mean, if you were to go to just a regular CNC programmer and want to make a change, it's usually, you know, at least $500 a pop. So I can't just tell people, oh, I'll change this and I'll just charge you $500 for it, because that's what my time should be worth to do it. So when we do custom stuff, it's if somebody suggests it and it looks like something that we might be able to, you know, sell in volume in the future, that kind of stuff we entertain, because a lot of people have great ideas that aren't out there yet that I think will help a lot of people. But as far as, you know, hey, change this dimension a little here, the shape of this a little there, we've kind of stayed away from that stuff because it's just such a huge time suck that everybody who's ordered something from us already is going to have to wait longer while we make little minute changes just to build one enclosure. So if, you know, you had infinite time, that would be, you know, I wouldn't mind at all, but it's like you have to kind of pick and choose which of those things that you do, so you don't get, you know, lost in doing one over here when, you know, you've neglected 30 over here. So it's kind of a fine balance we're steadily working out, but we're getting more into doing kind of custom stuff as we get more caught up. I mean, we had been so backed up forever, I wouldn't even entertain it, but now it's like, okay, you know, if it looks like something we might be able to actually work with, you know, I do mess with that kind of stuff.
Now, you know, the reptile world's, you know, there's multiple different departments, I feel like, you know, as far as people of who work with different species and whatnot. What do you feel like species wise reptile keepers, who comes to you the most, you feel like? Like, is it the chondro community? Is it the retic? Is it the ball pythons? Like, do you feel like you are getting more customers based off a certain species of reptiles, or is it just kind of like all around the board?
It seems mostly like the main customer base, I would say, is like arboreal snakes.
Yeah.
And I think that's just because that's kind of how we started. That we were limited by making a 2-foot cube. So when we first began, you know, we put all our effort into that. So that was like a kind of a customer base right off the get-go. And there is apparently a lot of need for new and interesting enclosures for those animals. So it was a huge market that's not been served. You had basically one choice, and you could get a 2-foot cube or 3x2x2. And, you know, that was it, buy it or don't. And here's your PVC water pipe. So I'm like, there's a lot here that you can kind of tap into. So like all the tub systems have been crazy, all the Hanger 1s, the Hanger 1 XLs, the Hanger 6s,
So
all the concept units. So you've managed to elevate tub keeping where you can introduce light, you can introduce new methods of heating. I mean, some of them we have, you know, UVB that you can add. So there's a lot you can innovate in just that one, you know, style of enclosure. But people also, you know, like arboreal snakes, they're very cool looking and they want an enclosure that matches too. So we try and make a box that's fun, not just a utilitarian piece that you have to buy just because you need to put the snake in something. So we're trying to make the enclosure part of the keeping experience, not just some item or equipment you have to buy.
I mean, these are type enclosures that could go in your living room. They're that nice. Like, they're beautiful enclosures. So that makes all the sense in the world why people could have options to do whatever color they want, in a sense, not whatever color, but, you know, options to even match certain things within their house. You know, reptiles aren't known to be something that are kept in a separate building all the time now. Like, a lot of these are now in the house like a dog. You know what I mean? So, and Focus Cube complements all that. I feel like, you know, I would hope one day my wife will let me have these in the house.
Yeah. Well, yeah, a lot of these animals have.
She would be down. No, hold on. A heretic, she would be down for sure. I can only maybe have one, but still, I mean, I'm okay with that. Like, you know, even though the first time I saw that heretic, like, Like the way I envisioned all these, I'll never forget. Before I even had one of these, I pictured a wall of them, right? I literally pictured a room full of heretics. Like, I don't know how far that, I mean, probably, who knows? That's a dream. But I'm just saying, I want to walk in a room, just nothing but heretics. Like, I'm talking like all the way around the room. That's all I want someday. And I want a huge bean bag. I want my, you know, my necessities, and just have a good time. That's it.
Oh yeah, I mean, we've got 4 of them in the house now. We're fixing to put the 5th one in.
Oh, you bastard!
When you walk in, it's crazy. I mean, it looks like you're in a zoo exhibit. So
that's all I want, man.
It's insane.
Yeah.
I mean, instead of just, because I mean, we had them in just kind of random enclosures before, and you're like, oh, that's cool, and you look in there and there's a snake. But when you walk in the house now, you're like, what is this? Like, people deliver pizza or mail, and you see them, they just like stare in the door for a little bit, and they forget what they're doing, and then they take off. You know.
Right. Give us a current update on the heretic, like where we at as far as rolling it out to where people can start buying it. Because I'm not sure last time we spoke, you said it was on the website yet, or what's going on, and just kind of update people if you want to just use that to wrap things up.
Yeah, we've got I have the cam files laid out for the 5th version. So this should be the final one. I'm constantly tweaking like perch position, heating, lighting element position, and how I want to run, you know, all the ventilation tubes and where I want to put all the cables and just stuff like that. And I'm also working on constantly dialing in thermostat settings. So this 5th one, it should be super close. There might be one change I'll make to the heat panel, but I mean, all I have to do is go push the button and cut the thing out and put it together. So once I have it together, I'm going to take it home, make sure it works like I'm thinking it's supposed to, and then we're ready to rip. So I mean,
it's close.
I think I'm going to say a month or so. It ought to be jamming. So I just need to one weekend come here and just do it, and then we're ready.
Okay. Well, when it's ready, please let me know so I can megaphone it to everyone out there and let them know what's good. But guys, why don't you let people know before we let you guys go, what does people have to look forward to the most in 2024 from Focus Cube Habitat?
Basically more of what we've been doing, but more advanced. We're going to make stuff faster. It's going to be, I mean, even better than before. So like I was saying, everything that we do, we tweak. I'm not, you know, I haven't outsourced these anywhere. I'm not stuck with selling 1,000 of a particular model before I can change it. It's just going to be a constant evolution. So when we find something we can do better, we'll do it. But, you know, depending on if we get overly slammed or not, lead times, they keep coming down. Stuff is going out faster, and it's getting more advanced at the same time. So it's just everything you wanted, but better and faster.
Yep.
Please do me a favor out there. Go to focuscubehabitats.com. Check out what they have available. You'd be surprised. Like Ashley said, you said over 30 or about 30 different styles.
Yeah, we have over 30 models. Yeah.
That is nuts. That is insane. So please go enjoy what they have available on the website. And first and foremost, follow them on Instagram, Focus Cube Habitats. And also, are you guys still doing your enclosure talk on YouTube?
We have over 500 enclosure talk videos there. So, you know, it helps people visualize, you know, where accessories go and what enclosures look at.
It's crazy that 500 is just a small part of the different versions, and we don't record every one. So it's like, you can see all the different configurations, and you just have to realize there's so many more. So that's kind of a little glimpse into, you know, different configurations and models that we've got going.
Well, the future looks bright for Focus Cube Habitats, and that's a fact. I appreciate you so much, Stephen and Ashley. Enjoy the rest of your guys' day. And guys, please go support these two of the best doing it in the enclosure game when it comes to the reptile industry. So that's it. Give it up for Stephen and Ashley. And thank you so much, Focus Cube Habitats. Have a good rest of your day, guys. Thank you.
Thank you, man. We'll see you.